My name is Sarah, and I want to share my story, not to bring sadness, but to help other children who might be too scared to speak up. I was only 9 years old when it started. Daddy was my hero. He made me laugh and told me stories before bed. But one day, things changed. It happened on a quiet night. Mommy was out working late as she always did. Daddy came into my room and said he wanted to tell me a secret. At first, it was just hugs that felt too tight, then touches that felt wrong. I didn't understand, but it made me feel scared and confused. The next morning, I told him I didn't like it. He smiled and said, "Don't tell Mommy. She won't believe you. It's our little secret." I love Daddy, and I didn't want to get him in trouble, so I stayed quiet. Weeks turned into months, and I started to feel alone. Daddy would come into my room almost every night when Mommy was working. I started pretending to be asleep, but it didn't stop him. I cried silently, hoping he would stop, but he didn't. One day, I told my best friend at school, Emma. She looked at me with wide eyes and said, "That's not okay. You need to tell your mommy." But I was too scared. What if Mommy got angry? What if she didn't believe me? The pain became too much to bear. I stopped eating and playing. Mommy noticed. "Sarah, are you okay?" she asked one evening. I wanted to tell her, but Daddy's warning rang in my head. So I shook my head and said I was fine. But Mommy didn't believe me. She started asking questions. "Why don't you play with your friends anymore? Why are you always sad?" One night, she found me crying in my room. "Sarah, talk to me," she begged. "I promise I'll protect you." With tears streaming down my face, I whispered, "Mommy, save me. Daddy is hurting me." At first, she didn't understand. "What do you mean, Sarah?" she asked. Then I told her everything. Her face turned pale, and she started shaking. "Are you sure?" she asked, her voice trembling. I nodded. That night, Mommy confronted Daddy. They had the loudest fight I had ever heard. He denied everything. "She's lying," he shouted. "She just wants attention." But Mommy didn't believe him. She took me to a doctor the next day, and they confirmed what I had said. Mommy cried so much, and I felt guilty. "I'm sorry, Mommy," I said. "I didn't want to make you sad." She hugged me tightly and said, "It's not your fault, Sarah. You're so brave for telling me." Mommy reported Daddy to the police. He was arrested, and for the first time in months, I felt safe. But it wasn't easy. People in the neighborhood gossiped. Some said Mommy was lying to ruin Daddy's life. Others said I made it up. It hurt, but Mommy always reminded me, "We know the truth, Sarah. That's what matters." In court, Daddy pretended to be innocent, but the evidence was too strong. He was sentenced to many years in prison. I thought I would feel happy, but instead, I felt empty. He was still my daddy, and I missed the good times we had before everything went wrong. Mommy took me to therapy, where I talked to a kind lady about my feelings. She helped me understand that what Daddy did was wrong and that it wasn't my fault. Slowly, I started to heal. Years later, Daddy wrote me a letter from prison. He said he was sorry and asked for my forgiveness. I didn't know how to feel. Part of me was still angry, but another part wanted to forgive him so I could move on. With Mommy's help, I wrote back. "I forgive you, Daddy, but I will never forget. What you did hurt me, but I won't let it ruin my life. Today, I am stronger." I share my story to help other children find their voice. If you're reading this and something similar is happening to you, please tell someone you trust. You deserve to be safe and happy, just like I do now.